It's for people who are coaches or transformation professionals who really want to have a greater impact in their clients' lives and who want to understand the principles behind clarity for themselves. So the group that, at least so far, the group that's been on, we've been running the program for several years, and it's about 40% people who are already professional coaches, so doing that as their main work. Then another 40% are people who aspire to do that work, who aspire to work with others, either as coaches or trainers or therapists or consultants or transformational professionals of some sort. And then the other 20% are people who are there for their own reasons, sometimes business owners. We've got a thoracic surgeon on the program this year. We've had everyone from doctors to lawyers to, people who are there for their own reasons and because they want to take these principles into their lives and into their work and into their business. So it's a pretty mixed group, and there's a really great community growing up around it. And what the program is, it's over the course of 10 months. So we start in September, run all the way through to June. And there are like 7 weekends on it. And it's divided into 3 main areas. So the first part of the course, the first third of the course, the focus is all on your grounding. So grounding is means your embodied understanding of these principles, because we work on the basis that you can't share what you don't have. So the most powerful thing that a clarity coach is going to be able to share with people, to use to impact people, is something that they've insightfully realized for themselves. So a really big focus, actually all the way through the program, is pointing you back to that source of insight that you have within yourself. At the beginning of the program, I often say something along the lines of, on the one hand, what I want for you is for you to be wildly successful, however you define success. And on the other hand, what I want for you is to become the most full expression of who you really are. Because as far as I'm concerned, that's the surest path to wild success. However you come to define it, because that's the other thing. A lot of times people start out the program wanting one thing, and then they discover something that completely eclipses that or is completely different from where they started. So it really is a transformation. So the first transformation we take people through is their personal transformation, their grounding, their embodied understanding of these principles. Then the second transformation is around your impact on other people. Because, speaking to you as a coach, that's what people pay you for. They may like your grounding. They may like the feeling of connection they get into with you and the way they feel when they're around you. But what they're going to pay for is the impact you can have with them, the impact. So the second third of the program is all around the impact that you have, and with a real focus on that. And then the third part of the program is on your commercial transformation. It's like, okay, how do you use this to influence the sales process? So for instance, a lot of coaches I've met really feel icky about the sales process and are kind of allergic to it. And yet, if you're going to thrive as a coach, the coaches who thrive pretty much are in love with selling. They love it. It's fun. It feels good. You feel connected and enjoyable. In fact, I was teaching this just this past weekend. We look at creating contexts where you can show up in the enrollment process, in the sales process, and have an amazing experience that you feel great about and your client feels great about, without any of the icky selling stuff or insecurity. So that's the thing. Coaching is a conversational business. That's the conversations or the delivery system for coaching. So the sales process pretty much has to be a really yummy, enjoyable conversation, or the person's not going to sign up with you. So that's part of the commercial transformation, but also just helping people feel good about answering the question, so what do you do? Or, so what are these principles you're talking about? Or, so what is coaching? just being able to answer those kind of questions in a way that is tailored to the person you're speaking with and that feels good and that allows you to be at your best in that situation. So that's kind of the third transformation. So we broadly divide the course into those three sections, but actually we're spiraling through all of them right from the beginning. So yeah, there's seven weekends over the course of the year, and then a whole bunch of stuff going on in between in terms of coaching calls and master classes and supplementary products, and of course the community, which is amazing. You know, a lot of the people who come on the program say that a huge part of the value for them is being part of a community of people who are pointing in the same direction and really, really resonating with you, and just people who it feels great to be around. So that's huge as well. But the name of the game, Liz, is transformation. It is literally about going through a transformation that has you become the coach, the change worker, the transformation professional that you want to be. And that kind of speaks to my purpose for doing it as well, because when I had a big insight in 2009 that these principles represent the future of humanity and you know, the future of psychology. And you know, you look at the state the world is in, we need all the help we can get as a species. Well, what I'm noticing is that more and more people are being drawn to the transformation profession. And my assumption is that's because life needs us. And so I look around and it looks clear to me that what we desperately need is lots and lots of well-grounded, impactful, attractive, yummy, successful transformation professionals, because that's going to give the profession a good name. And if people are being profoundly impacted, that's the best way to, you know, spread this understanding as deeply and as quickly as we can, and in a way that solves the problem that humanity needs to solve. So, you know, just literally a couple of weeks ago, we got confirmation that the World Clarity Foundation has been approved by the Charities Commission as a charitable incorporated organization. So that's the next stage in our project to establish this understanding as a paradigm for psychology. So it's, yeah, there's big things happening, and it's a really, really exciting time to be part of this community and part of this movement, and to be training. I feel very grateful because I get to train my future colleagues. I get to train the people that I'm going to be learning from in the future and that are going to be part of this field with me. So it's really, really cool.
Yeah, I really sense your passion, actually, Jamie. And, you know, I kind of hear a real mixture of things there, which is that the real passion behind the community that you're building of support for each other, and also the very practical element of being a coach and having to make a living, and so having a foot in that camp as well. I guess one of the questions, though, Jamie, quickly, is what would you say is the difference, if you had to describe the difference between, say, a traditional coaching training program and the coaching program that you're running, which has got very much the principles behind clarity at its heart?
Well, so the primary difference, I would say, is very simple. It could be summed up in the statement, you cannot give what you have not got. So my main job is to create a space where my students, as they go through the program, are getting so deeply impacted personally that they become my best advertisement. The way that they're living, the connection they have with the people around them, the difference it's making in their lives. So, because I know that when someone is deeply impacted, they can share that with someone else. So it's not about theories, concepts, beliefs, ideas, models. It's about genuine transformation. That's the main difference as I see it.
And when you talk about the principles behind clarity, what do you mean by the principles behind clarity?
Well, so the principles behind clarity are the principles of thought, mind, and consciousness that a guy called Sid Banks articulated about 40 years ago. And it turns out that those principles represent a paradigm for psychology. A paradigm is in a baseline for psychology. So if you look at psychology, there's like 500 different schools of talk therapy, different models of personality, different approaches, and that sort of thing. It's a field that hasn't agreed on principles. But principles are incredibly powerful. They provide, they simplify things. So one of the things that I love about doing this work is that it's incredibly simple. It's not always easy, but it's incredibly simple. And again, that's the thing that I think would differentiate this from traditional coaching programs is we're pointing to something that's already true for human beings. And as a result, it takes a lot off your mind. So if you've ever been going into a session with a client and they've got something going on and you're kind of like, oh, what am I going to do with them? What tool should I use? What technique should I use? That sort of thing. This is pointing in the opposite direction. It's pointing you back in the direction of, okay, what do you know for sure? What's the solid ground you can start from? What have you seen for yourself that's going to make a difference to this person? And what you'll find as you go through the program is that you start to develop that inner sense of certainty and confidence in your ability to have a transformational impact on your client or on a group of clients. And that's the thing that I think for a lot of coaches, the thing that makes the commercial side of things a little more difficult than it should be is that they don't yet have that sense of certainty and confidence within themselves, because they haven't been shown that there's a way that life already works. There's a way that the mind already works. You start to see that for yourself, and it gives you such a strong foundation that your impact goes through the roof. So that's how it differs. We do the program by application only. So we have an application process and people submit their applications, and then we have a kind of a chemistry call with them and see if they're a good fit for the community and for what we're doing. And then we review all the applications each week and let people know if they've got a place or not. And like I said, I'm just really blown away by the amazing group of professionals that's growing up around what we're doing. And Liz, the impact that you see in people's lives that happening often very quickly. You know, one of the first things people will often say is the difference it makes in their connections with loved ones and with their clients. And just that feeling of connection is so, it kind of carries its own credibility. You know, if you're sitting down with a client for an initial meeting and they feel deeply connected with you and you to them, and they enjoy spending time in your company, that's half the job done in terms of, you know, creating a happy client is create powerful experiences that they feel happy about and feel positively impacted by. So that's kind of where the focus is being able to do that.
Great. Well, it sounds great. And if people are interested in more information, how do they find out a bit more?
Oh, just go over to jamiesmart.com. You'll see the Clarity Coach training page there. And you can, you know, see all the details there. And if you're interested, just click and you'll be able to fill out an application form. Or you can ping me on Facebook or get in touch with our team, you know, all the usual places. Twitter, Jamie_smart_, all those sort of places. But jamiesmart.com is the most reliable place to get in touch.
Great, Jamie. It's been great speaking to you today. Thanks ever so much for your time.
Oh, great to speak with you, Liz. Good to see you.
Cheers.